today we are again coming back to the field of research because long back we had the classes on research as well as research procedures, and this class is for all the participant friends who are in the field of higher education, because you see in the field of higher education research has become one of the most important concerns of attention for all the stakeholders. Friends, in our earlier discussions, we discussed about the concept of research, the characteristics or the specialities of research. Well, today we are to be a little bit specific. Then we are to discuss about the process of research as well as methods of research in brief, so that you, the esteemed participants, can follow the contents of the slides for the purpose of solving your personal problem at the same time for, you see, writing answers of different questions in MPhil as well as MA level. Friends, research is an academic, scholarly and knowledge generating process. Means with the help of the process of research, we generate knowledge, we evaluate knowledge, re-evaluate the existing stock of knowledge, we add knowledge with the existing stock, we re-add, you see, depending on the findings of new research on the same area. Being an academic exercise, research has many things to do with education or study, or study means education as well as in different studies. As a scholarly perseverance, friends, research relates to serious academic study. Serious means sincere academic study. As knowledge generating process, research is a never-ending systematic inquiry. Means in the first sentence we have used three most important terms at the time of explaining the concept of research. And these terms are academic, scholarly and knowledge generating process. Means when you are to define research, then you can say that research is an academic process. And as an academic exercise or process, research has many things to do with education or different studies, means academic studies. And when we define research, or at the time of defining research as a scholarly process, we are to say that as such, means as a scholarly perseverance or exercise or process, research relates to serious as well as sincere academic study. And when we consider research as a knowledge generating process, then by saying so, we are to explain, or we are to understand or place before, you see, the academic fraternity that as a knowledge generating process, research is a never-ending, systematic and procedural and inquiry. Friends, in research, analysis of data has special importance. Means without analyzing data, we never can get absolute or proper meaning of the studied problem or the situation. Without analyzing the data, it gets difficult to forward interpretation. Means why we are to consider data for the interpretation purpose or purposes, and why we are to interpret data, because without interpretation of data, no meaning in the forms of findings can be derived. Means derived concerning to the particular field of study or interest of study of ourselves. Let us go back to the next slide. Friends, for understanding research, you are to understand the concept of data in proper manner. You have had the news item yesterday that from India, Chinese scientists or experts have stolen many important data in the form of information. So friends, the explosion of knowledge, the information concerning to the new development in the field of knowledge are stored in data library, and depending on all the new data in the form of information, we can, help to develop or help to proceed, help to make the process of development very much dynamic and very much speedy. So we have to understand data in proper manner, and this term has been originated from the Latin term datum. This is originated from the Latin term datum, and thus data is the plural of Latin datum. Datum is the singular and data is the plural form of datum. In scientific use or in the field of research, the term data is treated as a plural noun. As such, the term, especially in research or scientific studies, takes the form of a plural word, and thus it is written as the data were or the data have been classified. So friends, you are to pay attention towards this parameter, because without understanding or having proper clarification concerning to the origin of the term data and its meaning, you never can become successful in explaining, particularly in the research methodology chapter of your thesis, in proper format as well as in correct form. The term data is often treated as a singular noun or used as a singular noun, and it is written as data was collected. We can write it this way too. Data means a piece of information for something. Friends, very simply or understandably, data means a piece of information for something. It means the facts or statistics used for reference or analysis. And this term has utmost importance or special importance in the field of research. For the generalization of research results in the form of findings, research methods have special significance. With data or just after data, in the field of research, QC, for going to the ultimate point of reporting the results in the form of findings, particularly in the concluding part of our thesis. Friends, research methods do have special importance, and that's why as a researcher, your understanding concerning to the method or methods of research has special importance for you. Without having clear concept concerning to the method, you never can solve your research problem by collecting data in scientific manner, in systematic process. For the analysis purpose, which is very important procedure of research, means analysis is one of the most important procedures of research, and without data, analysis is impossible. And for the purpose of analysis, of analyzing the result with the help of the interpretation of data, so as to go to the ultimate point of findings or result of the research, we have to depend on data. to collect such data, how to collect in research, for the collection of such necessary resource data or resource information for analysis and interpretation purposes, how to analyze the data which we collect in the field of research, and how to interpret the meaning for going to the ultimate part of research. You see, for the generalization of research results in the form of findings, research methods have special significance. So friends, if you put a question, why research method or why research methods, you are to say this much, that you see, depending on the method or methods of research, we collect data, we interpret that, we analyze data, thenceforth we interpret data, and thenceforth we report the findings of our research or place or report the results of our own research. Such methods may be of two types. Friends, basically in the field of social science resources, these two types of research methodologies or research methods are used. Not only in the field of social science, but also in the field of science too. These methods do have special importance. Number one is quantitative method, where there is the necessity of, you see, applying the statistical measures or statistical measure, and the another is qualitative method, where the question of using statistical measure or statistical measures does not or do not arise. Friends, in our today's class or discussion, particularly the first method, that is quantitative method, is to be explained in proper manner, and in the next class or in our next class discussion, we will discuss in detailed manner about the qualitative method, which is basically used in the field of philosophical studies as well as studies concerning to the field of literature. A thorough explanations and descriptions of both these methods or of these two methods will help us to understand research methods extensively in proper manner. Let us discuss about the quantitative method first of all in today's class, and in our coming class we are to discuss about the qualitative method or qualitative research methodology, which is basically used in the field of philosophical studies as well as studies concerning to the field of concerning to different problems of the field of literature. Friends, the term quantitative, for how we are to explain the quantitative method of research, let us understand the term quantitative first, so that we can understand the concept of quantitative method in absolutely understandable manner. This term quantitative has close link with the term quantity, means amount. Quantity means a certain amount or number. How many students remain present in the examination hall? This is a quantity. Say we say 100. Out of 500, 200 students appeared in the online examination process. From market, once you go to market, then you do have a list. You go with a list and you write the amount here: 2 kilo potatoes, 1 kilo sugar, 2 liters mustard oil. Then after 3 liters refined, 2 kilogram salt, like this. Means you specify the amount with the mention of the quantity. And in the field of research too, this term has quantity has or determining the amount or number has special importance, and all these do have link with the quantitative research methodology. In other sense, Quantity means the aspect of something that can be measured in number, amount or size or weight. 1 kilogram. 2 boys numbered in size. QC, size is also measured with the help of by considering the quantitative aspect. This term has been originated from the Latin term quantitas. Thus, the term quantitative means relating to or measured by quantity, means determining the number, amount, size or weight. The term method. Now let us come back to the term method because we are discussing about quantitative method. The first term has been explained so as to help you to understand the meaning, and this term has been linked with the term method. What does quantitative method mean? Let us see. This term has, the term method, as you understand, means a way of doing something. It's a way of doing something. And once we come back to the field of research, once we discuss method from the parameter of research, then we are to say that way of finding out the realities behind the phenomena or event or a situation so as to report the result depending on the procedure of research. Thus, in brief, quantitative method means a way of measurement by the help of which number, amount, size or weight, etc. are systematically measured or weighted for logical summarization so as to go to the concluding point of research or so as to report the results in the form of finding in the thesis or in the research report. Now let us see what does quantitative method basically mean. Friends, this is a special method of inquiry or measurement. Why measurement? Because in quantitative method basically for the purpose of analysis as well as interpretation of data, we are to depend on statistical means and measures. In quantitative method, data collected or those are collected are quantified. We quantify means we determine the number, we determine the amount or we determine the size or volume. For such quantification, statistical measures are applied. Quantity means express or measure the quantity. For such measurement, different measures of statistics have been used. Statistics, friends, basically helps in quantification of data collected for a particular purpose for logical summarization so as to help the readers to understand the result of our research study. Such summarization helps to derive conclusion, which is the important objective of any systematic study, may it be academic or it may be research too, so that general readers can, understand the nature of result of your own study, and they can, depending on the result, continue their academic study or start their research activity or activities. For this, friends, for the use of or following the quantitative method, data, analysis of data and interpretation of data have special significance. Once we follow or apply the quantitative method, then the concern of data comes automatically. Then the concern of analysis of data arises. Then the concern of interpretation of data appears. Because without doing all these, means collecting data, analyzing the data and interpreting the data, we never can get the meaning. Means we never can report the result of research. Data, as we have mentioned in our earlier discussions, is a piece of information for a particular purpose. The term I have already explained, the term, we have to understand the term now analysis, because without analyzing data, we never can get meaning. Without analyzing as well as interpreting data, we never can get the meaning, and without having the meaning, we never can conclude or report the research result. So friends, now we have to understand the term analysis, because we have understood the term data, which is originally derived from the term datum, and data is the plural form of the Latin verb datum. Like this, the term analysis has been originated from a Greek term, that is analuien, which means unloose. Analysis thus means a detailed examination of the elements or structure of something. In other words, it means the separation of something into its component parts, constituent parts. Thus, in brief, analysis of data basically means breaking down a piece of information into each of its constituent parts. And by analyzing or analysis generally makes three important things possible. Number one, with the help of the process of analysis, classification of data is possible. Depending on the process of analysis, we can describe the meaning of data, as well as depending on the process of analysis, interpretation of data or reporting the result of research is possible. Now let us see the importance or significance of classification, because without understanding the significance of classification of data, we never can understand the process of analysis of data as well as the significance of interpretation of data. Friends, classification of data means categorization of data. We have to determine the category. This is the group who are gifted, intellectually very much genius. This is the group of students who are general, who are from the point of view of intelligent, included in general category. This is the group of students in your class who are considered to be average, you see, intelligent, from the parameter of intelligent. And this is the group who are backward children or who are very much dull or dullard. So friends, this categorization has special importance for determining the absolute meaning of data as well as for reporting research result as expected manner or way. It means organization of data in categories. Now you are to understand the concept of description. Why to describe the data? Description of data means a written account of the piece of information collected for a particular purpose or purposes. It means explanation of the data without expressing proper or final judgment. In description, we do not give the final judgment. Simply we describe the nature of data, and the final judgment is given in the chapter of conclusion, particularly in the form of findings of results. Interpretation, what does it mean? Of data means the action of explaining the meaning of data. Means by interpreting data, we can get the meaning of data. Interpretation is a way in which a researcher expresses the research activity in a lucid or brief and systematic manner. And in quantitative research method, basically this research method means quantitative research method basically helps the researchers to establish and study the cause and effect relationship between variables for the reporting of the result or coming to the final concluding point of research. Let us now, friends, see the specialities of the characteristics of quantitative research method, which is basically used in the field of research in social sciences at the same time in the field of scientific study. These are the specialities, and by understanding the characteristics, you can have better perception concerning to the quantitative research methodology. Number one, as a special type of research, because here we are mentioning about two specific research methods, or you see, the first one is quantitative research method, the B or second one is qualitative research method, which is basically followed by the people who are continuing research or who are to do research in the field of philosophy or in the field of philosophical studies. The qualitative research methodology has special importance. At the same time, researchers in the field of literature are to follow qualitative research method. But in the field of social science research as well as in the field of scientific study, we basically use or follow quantitative research method, which has these specialities. Number one, as a special type of research and a distinctive method of research, quantitative research or research method has some special characteristics. And these are, number one, the approach of quantitative research method is deductive. And what it is? Deduction is a term which is derived from the term deductive. Deduction is a method of reasoning in which a general rule or principle is used to draw a particular conclusion. Means we go to the deduction. What does we do? We follow a general rule here and we go to the particular conclusion. And the size of sample is comparatively larger once we use quantitative research methodology. Number three, the emphasis is given on precision in describing events or situations. And the last one is, instead of words, emphasis is given on numbers. So friends, in quantitative research methodology, numbers count much, because without, depending on statistical measures, we never can apply quantitative research method for the solution of any type of research problem which we do undertake for our research or as our research activity or as research activities of ourselves. So friends, concerning to deductive and inductive reasoning, I discussed in my earlier class or classes. So here simply indication is given, and at the time of explaining the characteristics of quantitative research methodology or method, these 4 points or 5 points do have special importance. So this much for today, friends. In the next coming class, we are to discuss in details about the qualitative method, so that as a researcher or as a researcher or researchers, you can understand the specific importance for the scientific use of qualitative method as well as quantitative research method. Thank you so much for today. Thank you.